I really wanted to have the physical copy of all the books I'm talking about today, but the way my life is set up, they're all in trunks right now, so can't get them out. Oh, sorry. Are we good? Like, are we in a solid state of mind right now? Hey babes, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Isha. If you're new here, and if you are new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe for more videos. We are back with the second video in, what did I call this series? Recommending books for my favorite trope. I think that's what I call series. In this video, we're gonna be talking about second chance romances, because there's nothing like people getting their second chance at the love of their lives. Like, it's nothing like it. It just hits different when, like, they were so in love and then something happened and they come right back to each other, and just slowly but surely they start like vibing and hanging out, and they get back together, and it's just like, ah! Well, let's talk about all the second chance romances. I'm probably always gonna start off these videos talking about like one of my favorite books to set the tone. The first one is Love in Other Words. Read any of Christina Lauren's book. For me, this is one of the top books I've ever written, and I've read a lot of their books. Love in Other Words is one of the best written second chance romance. This second chance romance hit my heart, okay? It just, from the very first chapter, when she talks about the way her dad loved her mom, from that part of the book throughout the whole entire book, it was over with for me. The way Elliot and Macy, whole entire book, they did their thing. Give you the plot. This book is following Macy and Elliot. It flips from past and present. Macy lost her mom at a young age. She just her and her dad, and her mom wrote notes for her dad to help like raise Macy. He bought like a lake house, and the lake house was right next to Elliot's family. The past is showing like friendship, how their friendship turned into like a relationship, bonded and grew together. And I just love my two little book nerds. Perfect. Their cute meet was him and her dad went to go to her house, and he was reading in her closet. That closet ended up being like their book nook that they created for sure. They created like a library together. Like, how adorable is that? Tell me why this man saw her for the first time in 11 years, broke up with his girlfriend that he's been in a relationship with for like a year, and was like, I just couldn't be with someone that I couldn't love as much as I loved you. It's been 11 minutes. I've only talked about one book, but Love in Other Words, if you have not read it, highly, extremely, everything recommended. Read the book. Okay, so next one is Before We Were Strangers. I absolutely love Gracie and Matt. Based in New York. So Gracie and Matt met in the summer before they started school, and they started hanging out together like all the time. This is also another book that's like past and present. I love how second romance is always past and present, so you get the backstory and you get to see like how they fell in love, and then you get to see like the present, like how they like broke up and like how they found they were back to each other. They fell in love that semester, and then he's a photographer, and Matt got this opportunity to take pictures abroad, and Gracie stayed behind in New York. This one also has a plot twist. I do recommend this book, especially if you like a nice little like New York romance, finding their way back to each other, because he literally saw her on a subway on another way, and he put out like an ad so that he could find her, and that's how he found her again. It was a quick read too. You deserve each other. This one also is like a winter read following Naomi and Nicholas. Nicholas are engaged. Since their engagement started, they've been having problems, and they're basically trying to get the other to break off the engagement. It starts a prank war type thing, so that one of them will break off the engagement. Playing all these pranks on each other, they start like connecting with each other again. And so playing on each other was hilarious, so I absolutely recommend it. Okay, so the next one is Final Offer. Are ever on the book side of TikTok, you have seen this book. It's a final book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. Hal and Alana were perfect. He's a golden retriever character on the outside, but just internal battles, mental health battles, dealing with. Read the trigger warnings before you read this book. And Alana and him were together when he was younger. He like broke it off with her, didn't think he was good enough for her. And then fast forward to her father died, and in the will, he has to go back to the lake house and try to get it sold. And when he pops up at the lake house, he realizes that Alana's living there. It also has a single parent trope as well. So this book has like all the goodness. Like, you have the comedy, you have the billionaire, you have the second chance romance, and you have the single parent. I still love Terms and Conditions more than I like Final Offer, but that's because Iris held it down. Okay, so next one is The Co-op. This one was like my second or third 5-star read of the year. Reverse Grumpy Sunshine as well, following Layren and Deacon. They were like summer friends with benefits / like dating when they were younger, and their grandmother's left part ownership of their house. She ends up coming back to live in the house to get ready to sell, and they both end up working on the house together, and they end up living together, so it's proximity as well. I don't think it would be one of my videos if I didn't talk about Mario Zapata. The best thing, I listened to the audiobook for this book, guys. And when I tell you, I was at work until this audiobook, and I had to go to the back because I started crying at the end. This book put me through the ringer. Slow burn, second chance romance. It's following Lenny and Jonah. Lenny was an MMA fighter. Jonah is a rugby player. So Jonah and Lenny end up going separate ways because he was going through something mentally. They were together for like a quick little season abroad. He stopped communicating with everybody, including Lenny. He pops back up because he wants to like get back in touch with her, and then when he gets back in touch with her, he figures out something like a major thing that happened that like he missed out on. You have to read it. The next book, Love Letter to Whiskey. I hate the second chance romance in this book was over years, and they didn't get together until like the last 10 pages. Every time they would get together in the past, it wouldn't work out. It's one of those books that's going to have you tugged in so many different directions. It's really gonna feel like your heart is getting ripped out of your chest in the best way possible. Okay, so this book is following Bex and Jamie. Miscommunications, love triangles, it's a mess in the best way possible. It's messy, raw, it's just everything that you want in second chance romance. So another second chance romance book that we have is Swear on This Life. It was a quick read for me. On Jackson and Emmeline, I think that's how you say her name. Read the trigger warnings on this. They grew up next door to each other, and they were both in like in unhealthy homes. Like years later, he ends up writing a book. It's basically their life story. He writes it to her, and literally shout out to her roommate for being the one that came home with that book and was like, you have to read this. Like, this is another second chance romance that you should not be surprised that is in this video. Before I let you go, I will not stop ranting about this book. Her next book I think is coming out next year, the next book in the series, and like when I tell you, I'm like super excited. Like, so this book is following Yasmin and Joshua. Read the trigger warnings, but they were married. They went through something really hard and they ended up getting divorced, but they're still in each other's lives constantly because they own a restaurant together. The love that they still have for each other is still like plain as day. Like, they have 2 kids together. He ends up starting to date. She ends up starting to date. Jealousy starts to arise. Side characters amazing. Their kids amazing. Ever After Always is part of the Bergman Brothers series, and if you know me, you know I will never shut up about the series. Ever After Always following Freya and Aiden have been together for forever. They're married, going through. Freya's ready to like start having kids, and then Aiden doesn't want to start having kids because he doesn't think they're financially ready, and they end up like going back and forth with those problems, and then those problems out into different problems because he's holding stuff in, and then she's not expressing what she's feeling either, and then so she ends up kicking him out at one point. Basically the whole book is them trying to like fix their marriage and get back on track. The next one is one of the books that got me back into reading. Like, Kennedy Ryan's book is like one of the ones that like clicked in my head, and I was like, yeah, I'm back in the reading game. Queen Move. Because following Kimba and Ezra, childhood best friends. As they start growing up, they started becoming attracted to each other. Then Ezra ends up moving away, and Kimba is like this really successful woman working. He's a single parent. Kimba moved back home, and since like they grew up together, like they can literally read each other like a back of a book. Like they can lead each other and like read the emotions on each other's face. So they end up reconnecting. If you read Kennedy Ryan's books, you know how amazing her books are. It's so beautifully written. The side characters are everything. The main characters are everything. The side characters are incredible. Like, everything about this book I absolutely love. The next one is also a book by Kennedy Ryan, Block Shot. It's on Banner, and Jared is also a plus size female character. Love Banner. I love a boss bitch. Love this book. This book has a cheating trope, but it's the best cheating trope book I've ever read. I do not like cheating trope. This one was immaculately written and made up for everything. Just read her books. Her writing is immaculate. Like, it will have you hooked forever. I'm sorry. So Banner and Jared were like, they went to college together and they like study partners, and Jared has always been like a playboy. He starts like developing feelings for Banner, so she didn't think that Jared actually liked her. So then it happens one night at the beginning of the book, she ends up getting an internship and they never see each other again. So they bump into each other at August football game. He basically makes sure that she doesn't get away. He keeps popping up. I'm talking about this man will pop up at anything. So Banner and him are both sport agents, and he sets up this whole thing to where they're working together, a fundraiser type thing. So then they end up spending all this time together, and then the miscommunications that happened in the past that like split them up gets cleared, and I gotta reread this book. Okay, the final book, The Bromance Club, and this is a second chance romance because this is also a marriage in trouble. This is the first book in the Bromance book club series. This one's on Thea and Gavin, and Thea and Gavin were together, I think her freshman year in college, something like that. She ends up getting pregnant by accident. They end up getting married. It's also really funny. The boys in this book ate down. Like, he's a part of a baseball team. It has a lot of groveling. I thoroughly enjoyed it. That is all I had to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next one.